Unstoppable Crying. Chapter 61. The Unstoppable Crying. Woody looked at Su Wanwan, who was trembling in his arms, and softened his tone slightly. "Let's go inside the vehicle first. The temperature outside is too high. You won't be able to handle it." Su Wanwan didn't seem to hear him and continued to cling to him, her tears incessantly soaking the corner of his clothes. Helpless, Woody had no choice but to pick her up and stride toward the RV. He knew that with the 50 degrees Celsius heat outside and Su Wanwan covered in sweat and blood, staying out any longer would only make things worse. Inside the RV's living room, Lin Shi and Lin Yu had already heard the commotion. Seeing Woody suddenly get out of the car earlier, they had been curious about what he was doing so late at night. Just as they were about to get up and check, they saw Woody walk in carrying a disheveled but beautiful girl. The two sisters were instantly stunned, their eyes filled with surprise as they stared intently at Su Wanwan in Woody's arms, momentarily forgetting to speak. After a few seconds, Lin Yu was the first to react. She approached and asked, "Big brother Woody, where did you pick up this beauty?" Lin Shi quickly pulled on Lin Yue's arm, signaling her not to speak recklessly, then looked at Woody and asked gently, "Big brother Woody, is she your friend?" Woody didn't offer any further explanation, only nodding slightly. For a moment the interior of the vehicle fell into silence, leaving only Su Wanwan's suppressed sobbing, which sounded exceptionally clear. Woody allowed her to hold him, feeling somewhat helpless. He didn't mind being leaned on by a girl, but Su Wanwan's clothes were in tatters and covered in black monster blood and dust, clinging to her body. She looked truly disheveled. Lin Shi took all of this in and spoke softly to break the silence. "Big brother Woody, let Xiao Yue take her to have a bath and change into some clean clothes. She'll feel more comfortable that way." Woody looked up at Lin Shi and nodded. Lin Shi immediately walked to his side and said tenderly to Su Wanwan, "Sister, let's go get cleaned up first. It's safe here." Woody chimed in, his voice carrying a hint of reassurance. "That's right, Su Wanwan, don't worry. You're safe now, no one can hurt you anymore." Only then did Su Wanwan's crying gradually stop, as if she were waking up from extreme terror. She raised her tear-stained face, blinked her red and swollen eyes, glanced at Woody, then at the gentle Lin Shi, and nodded softly, releasing her hold on Woody. "Xiao Yu, come here," Lin Shi called out to Lin Yu. Lin Yu immediately skipped over and took Su Wanwan's hand, saying enthusiastically, "Sister, come with me. Let me tell you, you can take a hot bath here. I have plenty of pretty clothes. How about you wear a JK uniform? Your legs are so long, you'll definitely look great in it." Su Wanwan was still a bit dazed, allowing Lin Yu to lead her toward the RV's bathroom. The moment the bathroom door closed, silence returned to the vehicle. Woody stood up and looked at Lin Shi, who was tidying the dining table. "Prepare another portion of blue-quality dog meat. She isn't badly injured, just shaken. Eating something to recover her spirits will be enough." "All right," Lin Shi responded softly, turning to walk into the kitchen to begin her work. Woody walked over to the driver's seat and sat down, leaning against the backrest with his eyes closed to rest, wondering what exactly Su Wanwan had encountered to end up like this. Time passed slowly. After nearly an hour, the bathroom door finally opened. Lin Yu led Su Wanwan out. Woody looked up, and his gaze paused for a moment. In the emergency earlier, he hadn't had the chance to look closely at Su Wanwan's appearance. Now he realized she looked to be about the same age as sisters Lin Shi and Lin Yue, with delicate features and fair skin. Once the disheveled look was gone, she appeared exceptionally beautiful, especially since she had changed into the JK uniform Lin Yu had chosen. The pleated skirt accentuated her slender figure, adding a touch of liveliness and charm, along with a bit of allure. Before Woody could speak, Lin Shi walked over with a plate of roast meat. She quickly pulled Su Wanwan to sit on the sofa and said with a smile, "Sister, come and eat something. This can permanently increase your physique. Eating it will be good for you." "Big brother Woody, doesn't Sister Su look great in a JK uniform? My taste is pretty good, right?" "Heha." Lin Yue sat in the passenger seat and grinned foolishly at Woody. Su Wanwan had completely calmed down by now. The tear stains on her face had been wiped clean, though her eyes were still a bit red. She looked at Wu Di with a hint of apology on her face and said softly, "Big shot, I'm sorry. I was too scared just now and caused you trouble." Wu Di waved his hand, his tone flat but gentle. "It's fine. Eat something first. We can talk after you're full. It's safe here." Su Wanwan nodded and lowered her head to eat in small bites. Just when Wu Di thought everything was finally fine, he saw that as Su Wanwan ate, her shoulders suddenly trembled, and tears began to fall again, becoming more intense. Wu Di was stunned on the spot and quickly asked, "What's wrong, Su Wanwan? You're okay here, don't be afraid." "Sister, Big Brother Wu Di is very powerful. Rest assured, nothing will happen." Lin Shi also hurriedly sat beside Su Wanwan to comfort her. While wiping her tears, Su Wanwan sobbed, her voice sounding both aggrieved and soft. "I'm fine. Sob, I just feel so happy." Wu Dai. Chapter 62, The Dark Side of Human Nature. Su Wanwan finished her last bite, and some color finally returned to her face. Her tense expression relaxed completely. Seeing this, Lin Shi took the initiative to stand up and clear the dishes from the dining table. Her movements were gentle and efficient. In no time, everything was cleaned up, and she went into the kitchen to wash them. Wu Dai leaned back in the driver's seat, his gaze falling on Su Wanwan as he spoke. "Tell me, what exactly happened? How did you end up surrounded by monsters in your car?" Su Wanwan remained silent for a few seconds before she slowly began to speak, her voice still carrying a hint of lingering grievance. "I was exploring another public area today and met 3 male players. They said there was safety in numbers and invited me to join their team. I thought it would be difficult to deal with monsters alone, so I agreed. Everything was quite normal at first. We found quite a few supply crates together. Around 4 p.m., the temperature outside kept rising. They said staying in the city would lead to trouble and suggested leaving. After we left the city and were distributing the supplies, they suddenly changed their tune. They said that because I'm a girl and don't have much combat power, my share of the supplies should be reduced, leaving me with only a tiny bit of basic materials and fuel." At this point, Su Wanwan's voice paused, a flash of anger crossing her eyes. "I was extremely angry at the time, but there were 3 of them, and only 1 of me. I couldn't possibly win a fight. Since the situation was against me, I could only grit my teeth and agree. Around 7 p.m., while I was resting in my van, they suddenly came and knocked on my door, saying they had something to discuss and wanted me to come out. I felt something was wrong, so I didn't dare open the door. I didn't expect them to start attacking my car directly. I was so scared that I quickly started the engine to escape, and they kept chasing me from behind. I drove for about half an hour, and more monsters started following behind. Those people gave up the chase and left because they were afraid of being surrounded by monsters. I didn't dare to keep driving forward, so I found a place to stop. Not long after, those monsters surrounded me and kept slamming against my car door. I hid inside, trembling all over, thinking I was done for. Just as Su Wanwan was on the verge of despair, she thought of asking Wu Di for help. As soon as she opened the communication interface, she saw a private message from Wu Di. At that moment, it felt like grabbing onto a final lifeline, and she replied to him almost instantly. "That's too much. Those people are so evil." After hearing this, Lin Yu immediately puckered her small face and complained indignantly. "You found the supplies together as a team. Why should you get less just because you're a girl? They even attacked you. They're practically not human. Big Brother Wu Di, if you run into them next time, you must teach them a good lesson and avenge Sister Su." Lin Shi walked over with a glass of warm water and handed it to Su Wanwan, comforting her in a gentle tone. "Don't be sad. It's all over now, and you're safe." Wu Dai looked at the indignant Lin Yu and the gently comforting Lin Shi, then glanced at the aggrieved Su Wanwan. "There's no need to be too angry. In this doomsday survival world, the distortion and greed of human nature are only a matter of time. Without the constraints of rules or a moral baseline, some people will do anything." Su Wanwan took the warm water and had a sip. The grievance in her heart gradually dissipated, and her expression returned to calm. She looked around the spacious and comfortable RV, her eyes instantly lighting up. She looked at Wu Di with a face full of surprise. "Big shot Wu Di, this vehicle of yours is incredible. Is this a RV? I've never seen one before, and I haven't heard anyone mention it in the communication channel." As she spoke, she looked at the sisters Lin Shi and Lin Yu beside her. With a hint of curiosity in her eyes, she asked softly, "By the way, Big Shot, who are these two younger sisters?" "Sister Su, you actually don't know." Lin Yu immediately leaned in, looking at Wu Di suspiciously, before turning back to Su Wanwan with a wink and a smile. "Big brother Wu Di is amazing. Sister Su, you're so beautiful. Did Big brother Wu Di keep it a secret from you, and not tell you how incredible he is?" "Xiao Yu." Lin Shi quickly glared at Lin Yui, signaling her to stop talking nonsense. She then turned to Su Wanwan and introduced herself in a gentle tone. "Sister Su, my name is Lin Shi, and this is my younger sister Lin Yu. Like you, we asked Big Shot Wu Di for help and joined his team to explore together." After speaking, Lin Shi stole a glance at Wu Di. Su Wanwan nodded in realization, her gaze toward Wu Di filled with even more admiration. "So that's how it is. Thank you, Big Shot, and thank you too as well. If it weren't for you, I definitely wouldn't have survived tonight." Wu Di waved his hand. "No need for thanks. Now that you've joined the contract, you're one of us. From now on, you're a teammate." Lin Yu immediately chimed in. "That's right, Sister Su. We'll be together from now on." Looking at the enthusiastic Lin Yu, the gentle Lin Shi, and the indifferent yet incredibly reliable Wu Di, Su Wanwan felt a warmth in her heart. In this cold and cruel apocalypse, she was finally no longer alone. Chapter 63 officially joins. Wu Di looked at the lingering fatigue in Su Wanwan's eyes, and the words on the tip of his tongue were ultimately swallowed back. He had wanted to ask her if she had opened any useful blueprints while exploring today, but then he reconsidered. She had just experienced such a fright, and what she needed most right now was rest. So he spoke slowly. "Rest well, don't overthink things. With me here, nothing else will happen." After saying this, he turned to look at Lin Shi. "Tonight, Su Wanwan can sleep with you two. The bedroom is big enough, and it'll be good to look out for each other." Lin Shi immediately nodded gently in agreement. "Okay, Big Brother Wu Di, I will take good care of Sister Su." Lin Yu, standing by the side, could no longer contain herself. She hurriedly stepped forward, grabbed Su Wanwan's hand, and dragged her toward the bedroom, her tone cheerful. "Sister Su, come on, hurry. There's a big soft bed in the bedroom. My sister and I are sleeping in a bed for the first time tonight, too. It's definitely going to be more comfortable than sleeping on the seats." Being pulled by Lin Yu, Su Wanwan paused slightly and looked back at Wu Di. There was a hint of hesitation in her eyes, as if she had something she wanted to say. Seeing this, Wu Di nodded gently, his tone gentle but firm. "Whatever it is, let's talk about it tomorrow. For now, get some rest and regain your spirit." Hearing this, Su Wanwan nodded gently and let Lin Yue pull her into the bedroom. Lin Shi also said softly to Wu Di, "Big brother Wu Di, I need to keep an eye on little Yu, so I'll head over now." Wu Di nodded as well. Watching the three girls' figures completely disappear past the bedroom doorway and hearing the door close, the RV living room instantly returned to silence. Wu Di got up, walked over to the sofa, lay down, and closed his eyes, his mind beginning to organize his plans for future exploration. Rust-corroded Wasteland City was even larger than he had anticipated. The three players Su Wanwan had encountered were just a microcosm of the twisted human nature in this apocalypse. In the future, it was highly likely he would encounter more such trouble. Moreover, it seemed that quite a few people had entered each public area. It was just that the city was too large, so they hadn't met yet. The night passed peacefully just like that. There were no roars of monsters and no harassment from other players. It was as if the entire rust-corroded Wasteland City had fallen into a deep slumber. At 6 a.m, Wu Di woke up right on time. His biological clock had adapted in just these short 2 or 3 days. He got up and walked to the central control screen, his gaze falling on the outside temperature displayed. 40 degrees Celsius. This temperature was significantly lower than yesterday evening, but it was still on the high side. What puzzled him even more was, what did this mean? Was the system limiting the player's daily exploration time? But that made no sense. Since it allowed all players to enter the public area to explore, there was no reason to deliberately restrict them. Wu Di thought about it for a long time, but simply stopped dwelling on it, preparing to wake the three girls so they could eat breakfast, and set off to search for supply crates. Just as he raised his hand to knock on the bedroom door, the door opened first, and the three girls walked out one after another. Lin Shi was in the lead, her expression as gentle as ever. Seeing Wu Di, she said softly, "Big brother Wu Di, you're awake? I'm going to go make breakfast now. Yesterday, little you and I traded for a lot of ingredients on the trading channel." Wu Di snapped out of his thoughts and nodded. "Okay, let's eat quickly and set off immediately. Let's try to explore more areas today." Not long after, Lin Shi had cooked 4 bowls of piping hot egg and vegetable noodles. After placing them on the table, the 4 of them sat around it and began to eat quietly. "Su Wanwan, does your talent have anything to do with your vehicle level?" Wu Di, who had finished eating quickly, put down his bowl and chopsticks and looked at Su Wanwan. Su Wanwan, who was in the middle of eating, was stunned for a moment upon hearing this. She looked at Wu Di and said, "I'm not entirely sure either, but I feel like it should be related to both the talent level and the vehicle level." Seeing that Wu Di had fallen into deep thought again, the sisters exchanged a look, and then Lin Yu spoke up. "Big brother Wu Di, you're thinking about having Sister Wanwan share a vehicle with you, right?" "How did you know?" Wu Di looked at Lin Yu with some surprise. "Well, of course, Sister Wanwan and I tell each other everything," Lin Yu said, lifting her chin proudly. Wu Di looked at Lin Yu, then at Su Wanwan, a hint of astonishment appearing on his face. It had only been one night. How did they seem to be so close already? He then fell back into deep thought. "Big brother Wu Di, just let Sister Su share a vehicle with you. With Sister Su's talent, she will definitely be able to open better blueprints on your car." Lin Shi put down her bowl and chopsticks and suddenly spoke up. "How do you know about that too?" Wu Di was even more puzzled. What on earth had they talked about last night? Although he could hear their conversation, he wouldn't deliberately pry into their privacy. "Sister and I talked with Sister Wanwan for a long time last night. I know everything." Lin Yu hurriedly chimed in to make her presence felt, her tone cheerful. "What are you worried about, big brother Wu Di?" Seeing that Wu Di was slow to express his stance, Lin Shi asked softly, "I'm wondering if Su Wanwan staying on my car actually counts, or if her talent will still be triggered based on her original vehicle level." Wu Di slowly voiced his concerns, his tone carrying a bit of uncertainty. "Big brother Wu Di, didn't you know? Vehicles can be changed. Sister Wanwan just needs to abandon her original vehicle." Lin Yu looked at Wu Di with a curious expression, as if to say this was common knowledge. "Big brother Wu Di, you probably don't check the communication channel often, do you?" Lin Shi seemed to have figured out the reason and asked softly. "Yeah, the content on the communication channel is too chaotic and a waste of time, so I haven't paid much attention to it." Wu Di nodded frankly. He only focused on his own exploration and improvement, and couldn't be bothered with the channel. "Big brother Wu Di, people on the communication channel have been talking about it for a long time. Vehicles can be changed. As long as you abandon your current vehicle, you can share a vehicle with someone else," Lin Shi explained patiently. Yeah. Yesterday, a lot of people met in the public area and have already started teaming up," Lin Yu said, adding one sentence after another. Hearing this, the worries in Wu Di's heart completely dissipated, and he no longer hesitated. He immediately looked at Su Wanwan and said, "Su Wanwan, what do you think? I won't force you. Even if you don't agree, we are still teammates." "Big brother, I'll listen to whatever you say." Su Wanwan nodded without hesitation, her eyes full of certainty. She never wanted to encounter a situation like yesterday where she was isolated and helpless again. Being with Wu Di and the sisters Lin Shi and Lin Yue made her feel exceptionally safe and comfortable. Teammate +1. Finally someone to chat with. Lin Yue clapped her hands and cheered happily. Chapter 64, Fatal High Temperature. As soon as she finished speaking, Su Wanwan seemed to suddenly remember something and immediately said, "Big boss, wait for me." Without waiting for Wu Di's response, she quickly ran out of the RV. Wu Di, Lin Shi, and Lin Yu looked at each other in confusion. Before they could think much about it, Su Wanwan came running back panting in less than 2 minutes, tightly clutching a sphere that emitted a faint blue luster. "Big boss, this is for you." Su Wanwan walked quickly to Wu Di, handed the sphere over with both hands, and said softly, "Big boss, I just abandoned and decomposed my van. I'll be counting on you to take care of me from now on. I can do anything." At this point, a look of annoyance appeared on her face, and her tone was full of self-reproach. "If I had known, I wouldn't have used the blueprint I got yesterday myself. It would have been so much better to save it for you. Now that the vehicle is decomposed, all the resources used on it were wasted. It's such a shame." Wu Di reached out and took the vehicle core. His fingertips touched the cold metallic texture. He looked up at the annoyed Su Wanwan with a calm expression. "The other things aren't important. You are what matters most." His intention in saying this was that Su Wanwan's talent was vital to the team. With her around, they could obtain more useful blueprints. However, to the three girls, it sounded a bit different. Lin Yu's eyes lit up, and she secretly nudged Lin Shi with a wink. Lin Shi's cheeks flushed slightly. Su Wanwan's eyes grew warm, and her nose felt a bit sore. Wu Di didn't notice their strange reactions at all. He put away the vehicle core and changed the subject, bringing up his concerns from the morning again. "The outside temperature is currently 40 degrees Celsius. If it follows yesterday's pattern, the temperature will rise further by evening. Could this be the system's way of limiting our exploration time? What do you think?" Hearing this, Lin Yu immediately raised her hand. "Big brother Wu Di, I know. Lots of people in the communication channel are discussing this. Everyone is guessing that maybe there are higher-level supply crates in the city center, and the system is intentionally raising the temperature to create difficulty." Wu Di nodded slightly upon hearing this. Lin Yu's words confirmed his suspicions. He then said in a low voice, "In that case, we'll search directly toward the central urban area today. Let's go check out that landmark skyscraper. No matter what's inside, we'll go investigate." Lin Shi nodded gently. "I have no objection, Big Brother Wu Di. We'll follow your arrangements." Su Wanwan also hurriedly nodded in agreement. "I have no objection either. Following the big boss is definitely the right choice." All three knew that all decisions were now in Wu Di's hands. With everything ready, Wu Di was the first to stand up and walk toward the driver's seat, preparing to start the RV. Lin Yu looked at Su Wanwan nearby, her eyes darting around, and she quickly leaned in to ask, "Sister Wanwan, why don't you ride in our car in a bit? Although it's not as comfortable as Big Brother Wu Di's RV, we can chat and talk together. My sister usually doesn't talk to me." "Xiao Yu." Lin Shi quickly pulled Lin Yu's arm, gave her a helpless glare, and said softly, "Don't talk nonsense. Big Brother Wu Di's RV is a level 4 vehicle, the highest level. The vehicle level affects Sister Su's talent trigger. Sister Su must ride in Big Brother Wu Di's car to obtain better blueprints." After saying that, she pulled the still arguing Lin Yu along, softly told Wu Di and Su Wanwan, "We'll follow closely behind you," and then led Lin Yu out of the RV and back to their van. The two vehicles headed toward the central area one after the other. Along the way, yesterday's situation repeated. They stopped when they encountered a supply crate, killed the monsters, and took the supply crate. It wasn't until nearly 12 o'clock that they could clearly see the tallest building. Just then, Su Wanwan, sitting in the passenger seat, suddenly said, "Big Brother Wu Di, Jixi and the others say the temperature is rising too fast. The further in we go, the higher the temperature gets." "Who's Jixi?" Wu Di, who was focusing on the surrounding environment, blurted out, but he realized it immediately after the words left his mouth. He added, "Let's stop and rest first, then consider what to do next." He then stopped the car and glanced at the center console screen. The outside temperature was already 50 degrees Celsius. "Big Brother Wu Di, it's too hot. My sister and I set the air conditioning to the lowest, but the temperature is still rising. It's already 36 degrees Celsius in here. Lin Yu said urgently, as soon as she ran into the RV. Lin Shi ran in right behind her and said, "Big brother Wu Di, the temperature will definitely be higher in the afternoon. Xiao Yu and I are holding you back. We're a team now. Don't say things like that in the future," Wu Di said with a wave of his hand. "Let's eat first while I think of what to do." "Okay, big brother Wu Di. I'll go cook then." Lin Shi nodded in response and turned to walk quickly toward the kitchen. Chapter 65, Boon of the Brave. Lunch was simple. The four of them sat around the dining table, but the atmosphere was somewhat heavy. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the 50 degrees Celsius high temperature displayed on the central control screen. "Big brother Wu Di, the temperature is so high. Are we still going to continue toward the center?" Lin Shi spoke first, her tone carrying a hint of worry. "The temperature will definitely rise even more as we go further in. Xiao Yu's, and my van is already reaching its limit." Lin Yu bit her chopsticks and chimed in. "Yeah, big brother Wu Di. It's ridiculously hot outside. If we keep running 2 vehicles and one breaks down, wouldn't we be roasted alive?" Su Wanwan also said softly, "Boss, I see on the communication channel that no one has entered this deep yet. What should we do next?" Wu Di thought for a moment before making a decision. "For safety's sake, you 2 sisters should hide the van for now. Come with me in the RV to explore the central area, and we'll come back for your car later." Hearing this, the 3 of them nodded in agreement. Lin Shi said, "All right, we'll go hide the car after we finish eating. We'll try to find a hidden spot to avoid being discovered by other players." They didn't waste any time with lunch and finished quickly. Lin Shi cleared the dishes. Then she and Lin Yu stepped out of the RV. They found an abandoned shop, carefully hid the van inside, and quickly returned to Wu Di's RV. With everything ready, Wu Di started the RV and continued driving toward the landmark skyscraper in the city center. The outside temperature continued to climb, the numbers on the central control screen ticking up bit by bit. 50 degrees Celsius, 51 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Celsius. When the RV was still 1,000 meters from the skyscraper, the onboard radar screen suddenly lit up. Dense clusters of red dots appeared, and right in the center of them, a conspicuous yellow dot flashed slowly. Wu Di didn't stop for a second. He sped up and drove straight toward the skyscraper. From a distance, the building had looked exceptionally prominent, but as the RV reached its base and the group looked up, they realized the skyscraper was absurdly tall, piercing the clouds. Though the walls were covered in dust and cracks, its former grandeur was still visible. "My God, this building is way too tall. It's taller than any building I've ever seen." Lin Yue leaned against the car window, her face full of wonder. Su Wanwan was also dumbfounded. "Yeah, such a tall building must have been a landmark of this city before the apocalypse. I wonder what's hidden inside." Lin Shi nodded slightly, a hint of vigilance in her eyes. "In such a magnificent building, the monsters inside certainly won't be simple." Wu Di glanced at the central control screen. The outside temperature had soared to 55 degrees Celsius. His brow furrowed slightly. He knew that in this kind of heat, a normal human couldn't stay outside for even half an hour before collapsing from heat stroke or even facing a life-threatening situation. He turned to the 3 of them. "The 3 of you stay in the car and lock the doors. No matter what sounds you hear outside, do not come out. I'm going inside to retrieve the supply crate and we'll be back soon." "Boss, it's too dangerous. There are so many monsters out there. Will you be okay going alone?" Su Wanwan said immediately, her face full of worry, her hands unconsciously clenching, her eyes filled with anxiety. Lin Yu quickly patted Su Wanwan's shoulder and said with a smile, "Sister Wanwan, don't worry. Big brother Wu Di is incredibly powerful. He's a total freak." Lin Shi also looked at Wu Di with a solemn expression and softly cautioned, "Big brother Wu Di, be careful. If you encounter danger, don't force it. If it doesn't work out, come back and we'll find another way." Wu Di nodded slightly without saying much. They only knew he was strong, but they didn't know exactly how powerful his current strength was. Gripping the armor-piercing Tang saber, he pushed open the car door. A blast of scorching air rushed in instantly, the intense heat making the surrounding air shimmer and distort. Wu Di's expression remained unchanged as he walked quickly toward the building's entrance, pushed open the rusty, rickety glass door, and stepped inside. The interior of the building was dim and filled with a pungent stench of decay. Dense crowds of black mist-infected wandered the lobby. In the very center of the hall, a giant black mist-infected nearly 2 meters tall was particularly eye-catching. It had a sturdy build. Its skin was a bluish black, and its arms were thicker than an average person's thighs, radiating a strong sense of pressure. However, there wasn't a trace of fear in Wu Di's eyes. Instead, a flash of excitement crossed them. Over the past 2 days, he had only dealt with scattered black mist infected and felt nothing. Now that he had finally encountered an opponent that could make him exert a bit of effort, he couldn't wait to experience his current power. No pressure at all. When will I encounter a decent opponent? This battle, from start to finish, took only a short 3 minutes. This was even with Wu Di deliberately holding back his strength and not fully exerting himself. If he had gone all out, it would have taken even less time. When the giant black mist-infected's corpse fell to the ground, a supply crate slowly emerged beside it. This supply crate was completely different from the ones encountered before, its entire body shimmering with a golden luster and carved with intricate patterns. Wu Di stepped forward and lightly touched the supply crate, immediately learning the name of this treasure chest, Boon of the Brave. Chapter 66, Uninvited Guests. Wu Di walked back into the RV with a light step. Just as he closed the door, sealing out the scorching external air currents, Lin Yu immediately approached him, her tone full of urgency and panic. "Big brother Wu Di, were you that fast?" As soon as the words left her mouth, she seemed to realize something. Her cheeks instantly flushed bright red, and she hurriedly waved her hands to explain. "Big brother Wu Di, I didn't mean it like that. I meant you're amazing. No, that's not it either. I meant, I can't explain it properly." The more anxious she got, the more she struggled to speak, finally stomping her feet in frustration. Seeing this, Lin Shi stepped forward helplessly and covered Lin Yue's mouth with her hand, smiling apologetically at Wu Di. "Big brother Wu Di, don't mind her. Xiao Yue's just too anxious." Su Wanwan couldn't help but laugh either, her eyes full of surprise as she looked at Lin Yu. The originally tense atmosphere was instantly diluted by Lin Yu's fluster, becoming more relaxed. Wu Di acted as if he hadn't heard Lin Yu's clumsy explanation and spoke with a calm expression. "I've got the supply crate. We'll circle the area first to see if there are any other supply crates we missed. Then we'll go get your van." Lin Shi immediately volunteered. "Big brother Wu Di, take a break. I'll drive. I'll have Sister Su help me keep an eye on the radar. Nothing will go wrong, don't worry." Wu Di thought for a moment, nodded, then turned and sat down on the sofa. Just as he sat down, Lin Yu leaned in, lowering her voice, her eyes full of curiosity. "Big brother Wu Di, was that supply crate you just got particularly high level? Let me see. I've never seen a high-level supply crate before." Looking at Lin Yu's curious face, Wu Di couldn't help but feel moved. The effect of the life and death together item was truly beyond imagination. In just 2 or 3 short days, the level of trust and intimacy between them had increased incredibly fast. He didn't refuse, and subsequently took the Boon of the Brave out of his wristband space, gently placing it on the coffee table. The golden treasure chest shimmered with a faint luster, its patterns clearly visible. "Wait until tonight when we find a safe place, then let your sister open it," Wu Di said casually. "Ah? We have to wait until tonight." Lin Yu's face fell. "All right, big brother Wu Di. I'll wait then. I'll just take a look and won't touch it." Saying that, she carefully leaned toward the coffee table, staring intently at the treasure chest with eyes full of anticipation. Wu Di smiled and didn't think much of it. He leaned back on the sofa and closed his eyes to rest peacefully. Lin Shi focused on driving the RV. Su Wanwan sat in the passenger seat staring seriously at the radar screen, and Lin Yue squatted by the coffee table, watching the treasure chest without moving. The cabin was quiet. "Big Brother Woody, the radar shows 6 red dots, and no supply crate signals have been detected." Su Wanwan suddenly spoke, her tone carrying a hint of vigilance. "These red dots are moving very regularly. Could they be other players? Should we avoid them?" Woody slowly opened his eyes and said in a flat tone, "There's no need to intentionally avoid them. Continue collecting supply crates. We won't actively cause trouble, but we aren't afraid of it either." "Okay," Lin Shi answered softly, still driving the RV steadily while keeping a vigilant eye on the surroundings. Just as she finished speaking, a supply crate prompt suddenly lit up on the radar screen, located about 500 meters away from those 6 red dots. Lin Shi immediately adjusted her direction and accelerated toward the supply crate. "Big Brother Woody, they're also approaching us?" Su Wanwan kept her eyes on the radar, her tone becoming more urgent. Woody glanced at the radar, his expression not changing at all. "Ignore them. Follow the plan." Soon the RV reached its destination. The supply crate was placed in front of an abandoned convenience store on the street, with not a single black mist infected around. Woody pushed open the door and stepped out empty-handed. He walked quickly to the convenience store entrance, bent down to pick up the supply crate, and casually placed it into his wristband space. Just as he turned to return to the RV, 4 vans slowly drove up and came to a steady stop about 10 meters away. The doors opened, and 6 people stepped out one after another, 3 men and 3 women. All of them bore various degrees of injuries and wore dust-covered clothes. When they saw the RV, everyone froze, their faces showing expressions of unbelievable surprise. They didn't know such a vehicle existed. No one had mentioned it in the communication channel. Someone subconsciously muttered, "My God, is that a RV? Am I seeing things right?" The 3 men frowned, their gazes scanning back and forth between the RV and Woody. "Brother, are you alone? Is this RV yours? How did you get it?" One of the tall, thin men, who looked to be in his early 20s, called out. "Is there a problem?" Woody asked bluntly. "Brother, do you want to join us? There are 6 of us. More people means more strength. Our talents are very strong." The same man spoke again. "Yeah, brother, let's explore the central area together. There might be good stuff inside. It'll be very difficult for you alone," another short, chubby man added. "No thanks. Also, a word of advice, don't go toward the center. The temperature there is too high. Ordinary people won't survive." Although Wu Di was very wary of outsiders, they were all fellow countrymen, so he didn't mind giving a kind warning. After speaking, he walked straight back to his RV. The 6 people watched Wu Di's back. No one stepped forward to stop him. Only after the RV left did they gather together and begin talking in low voices. "Did you guys see that? That RV definitely isn't ordinary. Where do you think he got that thing?" One of the tall men spoke first, his tone excited. "More than just not ordinary." The tall, thin man replied, "I bet he's the one ranked first in the world rankings with the vehicle points lead. Think about it. Who else could have such a high-level RV besides him?" As soon as he said this, the others were stunned, and then excitement filled their faces. A short-haired girl quickly said, "Really? If he's truly number 1 in the world, then won't we be safe if we follow him? But looking at him, he doesn't seem to want to team up," a long-haired girl said worriedly. "Don't you think it's a bit of a waste for him to drive such a big RV alone? How about we talk to him and see if we can trade resources for the vehicle?" The short, chubby man suddenly suggested. "That's unlikely. He definitely won't agree," the long-haired girl said directly. "Why not? There are so many of us, and we're all fellow countrymen. He'll understand us." The short, chubby man's tone was urgent and stubborn, filled with indignation and a hint of wishful thinking. "As long as we add more chips, he'll definitely agree. He can't just hog such a good RV all to himself while the 6 of us are squeezed into vans and suffering from the heat, right?" "But—" The long-haired girl wanted to continue, but she was interrupted by another girl. "I think it's worth a try. With so many of us, at worst, we can just live with him." The tall, thin man frowned, and after a moment of silence, he said, "Stop arguing. Let's just follow him for now." Everyone looked at each other and nodded one after another. Chapter 67, Talent Treasure Chest. Wu Di returned to the RV, and Lin Yui immediately approached him, asking, Big Brother Wudi, did those people say anything just now? Su Wanwan also took a step forward, her eyes full of worry. Big Shot, is everything okay? Lin Shi didn't say anything, just quietly looked at Wudi. Wudai's expression was calm as he shook his head slightly. It's nothing. Don't worry about them. Keep moving forward. Hearing this, Lin Shi nodded slightly, turned back to the driver's seat, and restarted the RV. Not long after they set off, Su Wanwan, sitting in the passenger seat, stared intently at the radar screen and reminded him softly, Big Shot Wudi, they've been following us. Wudi glanced at the 6 red dots on the radar, his tone remaining calm. Don't mind them. The temperature outside is so high they won't last long. The group said no more. Lin Shi focused on driving. Su Wanwan kept her eyes on the radar, and Lin Yu occasionally peeked out the window to monitor the surroundings. The RV traveled slowly, and they found a few more supply crates along the way. Sure enough, at 17, the 6 red dots on the radar screen suddenly changed direction and drove rapidly toward the outskirts of the city, disappearing from the radar scanning range a short while later. Lin Yu let out a sigh of relief and patted her chest. They're finally gone. Those people were like tails. How annoying. Wudi checked the time on the center console screen. It was nearly 18. After a moment's thought, he made a decision. We'll rest here today. Tomorrow morning, we'll first go retrieve your sister's van, then continue searching for supply crates along the outer city. Okay. Lin Yu, Lin Shi, and Su Wanwan agreed in unison. Just as they finished speaking, a flash of light and shadow appeared inside the RV, and a treasure chest with a faint cyan glow appeared out of thin air on the coffee table. Lin Yu was startled and instinctively took half a step back before leaning in again, full of curiosity. Wow, what's this? How did a supply crate spawn inside the vehicle on its own? Su Wanwan's cheeks flushed slightly as she explained softly, My talent triggered. It randomly contains blueprints. Lin Shi immediately adjusted her direction, drove the RV into the corner of an abandoned office building, and then stopped the car. She turned to the others and said, You guys sit and rest. I'll go make dinner. Dinner was still simple but warm, and the 4 of them sat together and ate quietly. Lin Shi quickly cleared the dishes and wiped the coffee table clean. Wudi then sat on the sofa and took out all of today's gains from his wristband space one by one, arranging them neatly on the coffee table. 1 boon of the brave, 2 silver supply crates, 8 black iron supply crates, 15 bronze supply crates, 3 ordinary supply crates. Wudi reached out to touch the faint cyan blueprint treasure chest, but as his fingertips drew near, a faint light screen shimmered over the chest, and an invisible force bounced his hand back. Everyone was stunned. Lin Yu asked in confusion, What's going on? Big Brother Wudi, can't you touch it? Su Wanwan hurried forward and said softly, Big Shot Wudi, I think I know why. She reached out and gently touched the treasure chest, and the light screen vanished instantly. This blueprint treasure chest seems like it can only be opened by me. Wudi withdrew his hand and nodded slightly. So that's it. Lin Yu, apply your talent amplification to Su Wanwan and see if we can get something better. Lin Yu nodded immediately, walked quickly to Su Wanwan's side, and gently pressed her shoulder as she activated her talent. Sister Wanwan, the amplification is on. We're definitely going to get something good. Su Wanwan felt the amplification on her but shook her head slightly, saying somewhat helplessly, It doesn't seem to have an effect. Talent amplification doesn't work on this blueprint treasure chest. It seems to be affected only by my own talent level and vehicle level. Wudi waved his hand. It's fine. Just open it and see. Su Wanwan nodded, took a deep breath, and opened the blueprint treasure chest. As the chest slowly opened, a blueprint fell into her hand, and a look of surprise appeared on her face. It's the protective coating design, blue quality. Su Wanwan was overjoyed and looked up at everyone, but when she saw their calm expressions, the smile on her face gradually faded. Lin Yu scratched her head, and Lin Shi bit her lip slightly. Neither of them spoke. Su Wanwan's heart sank, and she quickly asked, What's wrong? Is this blueprint not good? Lin Yu waved her hands hurriedly and comforted her urgently. No, Sister Wanwan, this blueprint is great. It's just, we already have this protective coating design. Hearing this, a look of self-reproach appeared on Su Wanwan's face. She lowered her head and said softly, I'm sorry. I thought I could get something different and good. I didn't expect it to be a duplicate. Lin Shi quickly stepped forward, gently patted her shoulder, and comforted her warmly. Sister Su, it's not your fault. Blueprints are random. Getting a blue quality one is already impressive. I'm sure you'll get even rarer blueprints in the future. Lin Yu also chimed in, Yeah, Sister Wanwan. And who knows, we might need to upgrade the RV later, so this blueprint might still come in handy. It's not a waste at all. Wu Di also spoke calmly, his tone carrying a hint of gentleness. It's fine. These are all resources for exchange. Listening to the trio's comfort, the self-reproach in Su Wanwan's heart gradually dissipated. She nodded slightly and handed the blueprint to Wu Di. Chapter 68. Special Seeds. After putting away the blueprints, Wu Di didn't waste any time. He reached out and pulled all the chests on the coffee table toward him, except for the Boon of the Brave and the 2 silver supply crates, and opened them directly. The others leaned in and looked closely. Aside from a large amount of daily necessities, there were only basic materials. 60 units of fuel, 86 metal blocks, 32 plastic, 36 rubber, 48 glass, and 16 electronic components. Other than that, there was nothing else, no blueprints, not even a low-level item. Lin Yu wrinkled her nose and couldn't help but complain, Big Brother Wu Di, your luck is too terrible. You opened so many chests, and it's just materials and daily necessities, nothing good at all. Let me open them next time. I'll definitely get something good. Su Wanwan quickly waved her hands and said softly, No, Xiao Yui, this is already a lot. Usually when I open a supply crate, I only get 2 to 3 items, and most of them are just ordinary daily necessities. Big Shot Wu Di averaged 3 to 4 items per chest, which is already very impressive. Wu Di was slightly stunned upon hearing this, a trace of surprise showing on his face, though he didn't say anything. He had never paid attention to how other players fared with opening chests, and had always assumed everyone's gains were similar to his own. Hearing Su Wanwan say this, he realized in hindsight how important the lucky pendant he had obtained at the very beginning was. It was this pendant that had quietly boosted his loot, and the probability of finding rare items, though he had grown so accustomed to it that he never looked deeper. He hid his surprise and looked up at the coffee table. Now, only the 2 silver supply crates and the dazzling golden boon of the brave chest remained. The gazes of Wu Di, Lin Yue, and Su Wanwan fell simultaneously on Lin Shi, their eyes full of expectation. The rest is up to you, Lin Shi, Wu Di said softly. Lin Shi looked at the 3 chests before her, especially the boon of the brave glowing with golden light. Her cheeks tightened slightly, and her expression carried a hint of nervousness and pressure as she bit her lip gently. I'll try my best. My talent only has a chance to increase chest loot. It's not guaranteed. If I don't get anything good, don't be disappointed. Sister, don't be nervous. Lin Yu immediately stepped forward and grabbed Lin Shi's hand, comforting her urgently. Your talent is very powerful. You'll definitely get something good. Plus, I'll give you a boost. It'll definitely work. Su Wanwan also followed up with soft comfort. Zixi, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Big Shot Wu Di definitely won't blame you. Wu Di echoed. There's no need for pressure. Whatever comes out is an extra gain. Just relax. Hearing the 3 of them comfort her, the pressure in Lin Shi's heart gradually dissipated. She nodded gently, took a deep breath, and her gaze became more determined. Okay, I understand. I'll definitely do my best. I'll give you the boost right now. Lin Yu immediately raised her hand and pressed it on Lin Shi's shoulder, activating her talent. Sister, the boost is applied. Luck is maxed out. You'll definitely get something good. Lin Shi smiled and then opened the 2 silver supply crates. 28 metal blocks, 32 electronic components, 100 units of fuel, 1 spiritual essence fruit seed, and 1 energy core blue. The rest are just daily necessities. Spiritual essence fruit seed, what's that? And is this an energy core? I've only seen them in the communication channel. Lin Yu immediately leaned in, staring at the seed in Lin Shi's palm with a face full of curiosity. Lin Shi immediately displayed the spiritual essence fruit seed to everyone. Spiritual essence fruit seed, a special crop seed, a strange seed containing gentle life spirit energy. The fruit it bears has a sweet and fresh taste. Consumption increases physique with no side effects. Planting requirements requires an environment containing life spirit energy to grow. Maturity cycle, 72 hours. Su Wanwan's eyes lit up. So powerful. I thought only monster meat could increase attributes. It is indeed a good thing, Wu Di praised, afraid of dampening Lin Shi's confidence. To him, something that increased physique was far less important than a blueprint. The tension on Lin Shi's face vanished, replaced by a relaxed smile. She reached out and handed the spiritual essence fruit seed to Wu Di. I'm glad I didn't let you guys down. Next is the boon of the brave. Lin Shi took a deep breath and reached out to touch the golden boon of the brave chest. Chapter 69. Bountiful Harvest. The treasure chest opened. Unable to restrain herself, Lin Yu leaned in and urged impatiently, Sister, quickly see what's inside. Let me see." Lin Shi didn't respond to Lin Yu's urging immediately. Instead, she looked up at Wu Di, her eyes carrying a hint of inquiry. With just one look, Wu Di understood Lin Shi's meaning and nodded slightly. Having received Wu Di's signal, Lin Shi felt at ease and displayed the attributes of several items to the group. Gene Optimization Fluid, special item. After consumption, physique plus 20. Can only be used once. Vehicle Accessory Selection Coupon. After use, you can choose one of the following 3 blue quality accessories: Turbine Pulse Engine, Explosion-Proof Tempered Glass, or Full Coverage Frame. M249 Light Machine Gun. Purple Quality. Fully Automatic Suppressive Light Machine Gun. 5.56 caliber. Comes with a 2,000-round magazine. Talent Fragment. Silver Grade. Mysterious energy fragments containing the power of talent promotion. Collect 10 to synthesize a talent promotion stone. Silver Grade. The moment Lin Yu saw it, she couldn't help but cry out. Her eyes went wide and her face was full of shock. Wow, purple quality. I've only heard others talk on the communication channel about purple quality coming after blue quality, but I've never seen it before. And it's actually a machine gun. That's just too crazy. Su Wanwan was also full of praise, her eyes filled with admiration as she looked at Lin Shi. Zixi, your talent is simply amazing. To think you could get so many rare items. I've seen people discussing these talent fragments on the communication channel. Many players are collecting them. Looking at the 4 items on the coffee table, Wu Di said, to get so many good things, it must be because your talent, Lin Shi, played its part, combined with Xiao Yu's buff. That's why we have such a bountiful harvest. Although he didn't know what kind of items the boon of the brave could yield, he understood the principle that offering a few words of praise to teammates could increase group cohesion. Hearing this, Lin Shi's cheeks flushed slightly, and she said softly, Big brother Wu Di, you should take these things. You know better than we do how to use them most effectively. Wu Di didn't decline and nodded slightly. He then said to the 3 of them, Lin Shi, you and Su Wanwan are tired today, so go rest first. Xiao Yu, wait a moment. I'll need you to apply a talent buff to me later. All right, big brother, Wu Di. Lin Yu immediately agreed readily, her eyes full of curiosity. She had always been curious about what Wu Di's talent actually was, but she was sensible enough not to ask and just waited obediently. Lin Shi and Su Wanwan also nodded, but they just sat down on the sofa. Wu Di turned and walked to the driver's seat, lying down. Without any delay, he immediately activated his talent, focusing his consciousness on the vehicle accessory selection coupon to test if this item could be enhanced. After a moment, Wu Di frowned slightly, a hint of disappointment appearing on his face. The feedback from his talent was clear. The vehicle accessory selection coupon was a special item and could not be enhanced. He then began to think about where to use his 5 talent uses for today. After pondering for a long time, he finally decided. The first priority was undoubtedly that purple quality M249 light machine gun. This was the first vehicle-mounted offensive weapon he had obtained so far. With it, the vehicle's safety would be significantly improved. The second priority was the turbine pulse engine design blueprint. This blue quality blueprint was one he had enhanced with his talent yesterday, Chapter 58. He had originally planned to craft it today, and then further enhance it with his talent. The third priority was the vehicle accessory selection coupon. He decided to choose the full coverage frame to enhance. This would significantly boost the RV's defensive capabilities. By then, only the tires of the RV would still be blue quality, effectively addressing a major weakness. For the final 2 uses, he thought for a long time before deciding to use them on the vehicle workbench blueprint, green quality, Chapter 40. This was an item he had obtained previously. Although he wasn't sure of its exact functions, he believed that after enhancement, it would inevitably provide a massive boost to the vehicle. Having finalized his plan for using his talent, Wu Di slowly opened his eyes, looked at Lin Yue, who was waiting obediently, and said softly, "Xiao Yue, we can begin." Chapter 70. Caliber as Justice. "All done, big brother Wu Di." Lin Yue nimbly leaned over to the driver's seat, her talent activating instantly. "The buff has been added." Wu Di nodded slightly without wasting words. He first locked his consciousness onto the M249 light machine gun. This was his top priority for talent enhancement, and the item he looked forward to the most. Ding, talent. Rule breakthrough in effect. Item promoted by 2 ranks. M249 light machine gun, purple quality, has been promoted to 30mm chain gun, orange quality. The moment he saw the talent prompt, Wu Di suppressed his internal excitement and clicked install. Slight sounds immediately came from the roof and body of the vehicle. A panel unfolded at the center of the RV's roof, revealing a neat opening. A retractable metal bracket hung steadily from the roof. Lin Shi and Su Wanwan, who were resting, along with Lin Yue, who had been waiting by his side, all noticed the changes to the RV. They looked at Wu Di with surprise, their eyes filled with confusion. "I've installed a vehicle-mounted weapon, don't worry." Noticing their gazes, Wu Di explained before checking the detailed attributes of the 30mm chain gun. 30mm chain gun, orange quality, vehicle-mounted item. A core firepower unit suitable for wheeled and light-tracked vehicles. Can fire armor-piercing incendiary rounds and high-explosive grenade belts. Comes with a magazine capacity of 120 rounds, 60% of each. Can be remotely controlled or manually fired. Effective range: 1,500–2,500 meters against ground targets, 3,000 meters against air targets, maximum range 10,000 meters. The magazine refreshes its ammunition stock every day at midnight. Speed -20, fuel consumption plus 100%. Note the caliber isn't thick enough, but isn't plenty of ammunition enough. Caliber is justice, power is confidence. Truth always lies within the range of a cannon. Beside him, Lin Yu's mouth hung open wide enough to fit an egg. It took her a while to react before she exclaimed, "My God! Big brother Wu Di, what on earth did you install on the roof? It looks so powerful." "Xiao Yu, don't disturb big brother Wu Di." Lin Shi gave Lin Yu a headache-induced glare and scolded her softly. However, a hint of curiosity was also hidden in her eyes. She simply knew her boundaries better and didn't pry. Wu Di didn't respond to Lin Yu's exclamation. He first crafted the turbine pulse engine and then used his talent. Ding, talent, rule breakthrough in effect. Item promoted by 1 rank. Turbine pulse engine, blue quality, has been promoted to turbine pulse supercharged engine, purple quality. Turbine pulse supercharged engine, vehicle-mounted accessory. Based on the core structure of the basic turbine pulse engine, a supercharging module has been added to significantly increase power output. Enables the vehicle to achieve rapid starts, hill climbing, and the ability to traverse complex terrain. Speed +60, fuel consumption +50%. Wu Di still used the system's one-click installation and used his talent once more. Ding talent. Rule breakthrough in effect. Item promoted by 1 rank. Full coverage frame blue quality has been promoted to heavy armor core frame purple quality. Heavy armor core frame purple quality. Vehicle mounted accessory. Strengthens the overall structure of the vehicle body and thickens core load-bearing areas. Improves load-bearing and impact resistance. Capable of withstanding high-speed collisions and medium-sized explosion shock waves, effectively protecting the vehicle's integrity. As the installation of the heavy armor core frame was completed, the originally bright silver color of the interior walls dimmed slightly. However, under the soft lighting inside the vehicle, none of the three noticed this subtle change. Lin Yu watched Wudi intently the whole time, wondering what his talent was, but she never asked. Wudi didn't pause. He had 2 talent uses left, and he used them on the vehicle workbench blueprint, green quality. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough in effect. Item promoted by 1 rank. Vehicle workbench blueprint, green quality has been promoted to vehicle workbench blueprint, blue quality. Vehicle workbench blueprint, blue quality. Vehicle mounted item. After use, central control capability increases. Vehicle warning range 30 meters. Crafting requirements. Electronic components times 15. After finishing the crafting, Wudi immediately activated today's final talent ability. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough. In effect. Item promoted by 2 ranks. Vehicle workbench, blue quality, has been promoted to Intelligent Hub, gold quality. Intelligent Hub, gold quality. Vehicle mounted item, equipped with a vehicle-mounted central intelligent control system, integrating 4 core functions: autonomous driving, full vehicle status monitoring, control of all onboard equipment, and weapon system linkage. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wudi stared at the prompts on the system panel, his heart filled with excitement that almost overflowed from his chest. He never expected to trigger the 30% promotion probability twice in one day. The results of these 2 promotions were so significant that huge improvement was no longer enough to describe it. It was a qualitative leap. Wudi immediately opened the vehicle panel to check. Vehicle, level 4 vehicle. Maximum speed, 240 kilometers per hour. Vehicle accessories items. Lucky pendant, gold turbine pulse supercharged engine. Purple composite bulletproof crystallized glass. Purple heavy armor core frame. Purple heavy-duty explosion-proof off-road tire. Blue vehicle-mounted nuclear reactor. Orange smart constant temperature refrigerator. Purple atmospheric water collection unit. Orange superalloy fortress armor. Purple vehicle-mounted full domain scanning radar. Gold 30mm chain gun. Orange intelligent hub. Gold. Seeing the vehicle information, Wudi knew that the communication channel was definitely going to explode. His vehicle points had jumped from 22,430 to 33,610 in just this short while. Chapter 71 Xiaoxi. Wudi looked at the points and component information on the vehicle panel, let out a long breath and stretched. The exhaustion of the past few days seemed to have mostly dissipated. Beside him, Lin Yu could no longer contain herself and leaned in, blinking as she asked, "Big brother Wudi, are you done?" Before Wudi could answer, the center console screen suddenly lit up on its own, and a cold, precise mechanical voice slowly rang out, clearly echoing throughout the RV. "Intelligent hub loaded. Commander Wudi, at your service at any time." The sudden voice broke the silence in the cabin. Wudi, Lin Shi, Lin Yue, and Su Wanwan were all stunned at the same time. They turned their heads in unison to look at the center console screen, their faces filled with shock. For a moment, no one spoke. Lin Yu was the first to react, her eyes wide as she pointed at the center console screen, her tone filled with unbelievable surprise. Is the RV alive? How can it talk? It even called Big Brother Wudi Commander. This is too amazing, just like in a sci-fi movie. As she spoke, She couldn't help but lean closer to the screen and gently poked its surface with her finger, her face full of curiosity. Su Wanwan also recovered from her shock, her face showing doubt and wonder as she looked at Wu Di and said softly, "Big brother Wu Di, what is this? Is it the thing you just installed? It can actually talk." Lin Shi still hadn't completely come to her senses. She stared blankly at the center console screen and subconsciously muttered, Is it shall I?" Wu Di also snapped out of it and said uncertainly, "This should be the intelligent hub I just installed. It's probably something like an artificial intelligence." As soon as Wu Di finished speaking, the mechanical voice from the center console screen rang out again. "Yes, Your Excellency Commander Wu Di. I am the intelligent hub system. To facilitate your future commands, may I ask if you would like to name me?" Lin Yu's eyes lit up, and she immediately became interested, forgetting her previous shock. She grabbed Wu Di's arm and said, "Big brother Wu Di, it wants you to give it a name. Let's call it Xiao Yu, okay? It's the same as my name, how friendly." Wu Di glanced at Lin Yu, secretly thinking to himself, "This girl's train of thought is way too jumpy." Lin Shi finally regained her composure completely. Hearing Lin Yue's words, she couldn't help but cover her forehead and said helplessly, "Xiao Yu, don't be ridiculous. How can you have an intelligent hub share your name? That would be so strange." The smile on Lin Yu's face collapsed instantly. She gave Lin Shi a wronged look, then turned to Wu Di pitifully and whispered, "Sister, I wasn't being ridiculous." Wu Di waved his hand. "It doesn't matter. Any name is fine as long as it's easy to remember." To him, the intelligent hub was just a tool. The name wasn't important. Lin Shi frowned and said, "No, big brother Wu Di. Xiao Yu, think about it. If it's called Xiao Yu, what will I call you later? It'll be confusing." Lin Yue froze for a moment and scratched her head, as if suddenly realizing something. "Oh, right. How did I not think of that? Then what should it be called?" As she spoke, she turned her gaze back to Wu Di, waiting for him to decide. Just then, Lin Yue's eyes darted around as she thought of another idea. She clapped her hands excitedly and said, "I've got it. Let's call it Xiao Shi. Sister, look how nice it sounds. It's almost the same as your name, and it's easy to remember." Lin Shi was suddenly stunned. A faint blush immediately appeared on her cheeks, and her eyes darted away as if she had thought of something. She said softly, "Xiao Yue, stop talking nonsense. Don't be ridiculous." Su Wanwan looked at Lin Shi's blushing cheeks and couldn't help but smile, softly agreeing, "I think Xiao Shi sounds quite nice. It's gentle and easy to remember. It really works." Wu Di watched their interaction and spoke up, "I have no objection. Any name is fine." Seeing this, Lin Yu immediately looked at Lin Shi triumphantly and lifted her chin. "See, sister? Even Sister Wanwan says the name I picked sounds good. Big brother Wu Di has no objection either." As she spoke, she looked at Wu Di expectantly, waiting for his final confirmation. Wu Di nodded slightly, which counted as silent agreement. Lin Yui immediately ran excitedly to the center console screen and shouted at it, "Intelligent Hub! Did you hear that? We've all agreed to call you Xiao Shi. Hurry up and call me sister." However, the center console screen didn't react at all. It continued to glow faintly, and no mechanical voice rang out. The smile on Lin Yu's face froze. She scratched her head and said in confusion, "Eh? What's wrong? Why isn't it talking? Did it not hear me calling it?" Su Wanwan frowned and guessed, "Could it be? It only follows Big Brother Wu Di's commands." Hearing this, Lin Yu immediately turned to Wu Di with a pleading expression, gently shaking his arm. "Big brother Wu Di, hurry up and make it call me sister, okay? Please." Wu Di found it amusing and said to the center console screen, "Intelligent Hub from now on, your name is Xiao Shi." The mechanical voice rang out immediately, still in that cold and precise tone. "Received, Your Excellency Commander Wu Di. Xiao Shi is at your service at any time." Wu Di asked again, "Do you only follow my commands? Can the three of them not communicate with you?" Xiao Shi's mechanical voice rang out once more. "Your Excellency Commander Wu Di, you hold my highest command authority. You may grant secondary permissions to the three of them. Once permissions are granted, I will be able to communicate with them normally and respond to their commands." Grant secondary permissions to all 3 of them. Also, in the future, you don't need to call me Your Excellency Commander Wu Di. Just call me Commander, Wu Di ordered calmly. Understood, Commander. Secondary permissions have been granted and are now in effect. Wu Di nodded and asked further, Tell me specifically what functions you have. Reporting to the Commander. My core functions include autopilot, full vehicle status monitoring, control of all onboard equipment, and weapon system control. These functions all require you to grant the corresponding operational permissions. Would the Commander like to grant all functional permissions? Yes, Wu Di said succinctly. Received, Commander. I have taken control of all vehicle information and equipment. If you need to perform any operations in the future, simply call Xiaoxi, and I will respond immediately. Wu Di glanced at the time on the center console screen and said, All right, it's almost 9 p.m. Everyone, get some rest early. If you have anything else you want to ask or say, go back to the bedroom and chat with Xiaoxi there. Hearing this, Lin Yu immediately perked up. She grabbed Su Wanwan's hand and tugged on Lin Shi's arm, hurrying toward the bedroom while muttering, Let's go, Sister Wanwan, sister. Let's go back to the bedroom. Chapter 72, Emergency Evacuation. The night passed without disturbance. Not a single monster appeared throughout the night, as if every monster in this abandoned city had vanished into thin air. At 5:10 a.m., Wu Di woke up. Since his physique had been strengthened, he required less and less sleep. His daily slumber felt more like a long-standing habit than a necessity. After waking up, Wu Di performed a simple wash-up and sat down in the driver's seat. With a slight frown, he began to ponder today's plan. He remembered clearly that today was the final day of the 7-day survival cycle mentioned by the system. He didn't know if this abandoned city would undergo any abnormal changes, nor did he know what the next stage of survival would look like. While Wu Di was lost in thought, the bedroom door opened, and Lin Shi, Lin Yue, and Su Wanwan walked out one after another. Lin Shi was as gentle as ever. Upon seeing Wu Di, she greeted him softly. Big brother Wu Di, you're awake. After speaking, she turned into the kitchen and began tidying up to prepare breakfast. Su Wanwan also nodded at Wu Di with a smile and said softly, Good morning, big brother Wu Di. She then quickly followed Lin Shi to help with the breakfast preparations. Lin Yu, on the other hand, looked excited. She ran to Wu Di's side and shouted toward the air, Xiaoxi, hurry up and say hello to the Commander. A second later, a sweet and pleasant female voice rang in Wu Di's ear. It was no longer the cold, stiff mechanical tone from last night, but had become much softer. Good morning, Commander. Lin Yu immediately raised her chin proudly and looked at Wu Di as if seeking credit. Big brother Wu Di, how is it? Doesn't it sound great? I told Xiaoxi last night to change to a better-sounding voice, and she actually did it. Hearing this, a flicker of surprise flashed in Wu Di's eyes. He hadn't expected the intelligent hub to be able to adjust its vocal timbre. He then nodded slightly, his tone carrying a hint of affirmation. It does sound good indeed. At that moment, Lin Shi's voice drifted over, sounding somewhat helpless yet gentle. Xiaoyu, stop messing around. Go wash up quickly. We need to set off immediately after eating. Lin Yu stuck out her tongue and didn't dare delay any longer, hurrying off to wash up. Before long, breakfast was ready. The 4 of them ate quickly without any procrastination, packed their things and prepared to depart. Wu Di returned directly to the driver's seat and glanced down at the time on the center console screen. It was exactly 5:58 a.m. He then turned to the 3 women and said, We'll follow yesterday's plan. First, we'll retrieve the sisters' van, and then we'll head to the outer city to see if there are any supply crates. Okay. The 3 of them responded in unison. Wu Di gave an instruction to the center console. Xiaoxi, start the RV. Let's head out. The RV slowly started up. Just as it had driven a short distance forward, everyone's personal panels lit up simultaneously. A system announcement popped up right on time, appearing clearly before everyone's eyes. The time was exactly 6 a.m. Regional announcement: congratulations to all survivors for successfully passing the 7-day initial survival stage. 1. Public areas will close today. Survivors, please evacuate. 2. Entering the final stage of high-temperature survival today. A safe zone will appear ahead. Just as the announcement ended, the earth suddenly shook violently. Accompanied by a dull, booming roar, the buildings of the abandoned city before them began to collapse rapidly. Walls of high-rises cracked, rubble tumbled down, and low-lying houses crumbled instantly, kicking up clouds of dust. The entire city district seemed to fall to the brink of destruction in an instant. Wudi's expression changed. He never expected such an upheaval to occur on the final day of the 7-day cycle, that the abandoned city would actually collapse. While he was momentarily stunned, the voice of the intelligent hub, Xiaoxi, came through just in time. "Commander, the surrounding environment is detected to be extremely dangerous. Buildings are continuously collapsing, and cracks are appearing in the ground. It is recommended to evacuate the abandoned city at full speed immediately." "Evacuate? Full speed?" Wudi snapped back to his senses immediately, replying in a firm, low voice without the slightest hesitation. "Understood, Commander. Evacuating at full speed, maximizing vehicle velocity." As soon as the words were spoken, the RV's speed climbed rapidly. Originally, the RV's top speed could reach 200 kilometers per hour, but previously, Wudi had rarely exceeded 100 kilometers per hour. Now, under Xiaoxi's precise control, the RV's speed soared, quickly hitting 120 kilometers per hour. The chassis vibrated slightly, but remained stable. If not for the city roads being covered in rubble and uneven potholes obstructing the speed, it likely would have continued to climb. Watching the collapsing buildings and billowing dust outside the window, Lin Yu's face turned pale. She said with great concern, "Big brother Wudi, what about our van? It's still back at the previous spot. If we don't go back for it, can we still get it?" "What time is it, and you're still thinking about the van?" Lin Shi frowned and scolded Lin Yu softly, her tone full of anxiety. "Saving our lives is what matters now. If the van is gone, we can find another, but if we're gone, everything is lost." Wudi looked straight ahead, focusing intently on the road conditions, and added in a steady voice, "Forget the van for now. We must hurry and leave this place. One step late and we'll be buried in the ruins." Seeing the increasingly dangerous scenes outside the window, Lin Yue finally stopped talking, her face filled with tension. Under Xiaoxi's control, the RV wove through the collapsing ruins, driving at full speed toward the outskirts of the abandoned city. Chapter 73. Survival Crisis. Under Xiaoxi's precise control, the RV shot forward like an arrow from a bow, weaving nimbly through the collapsing ruins. It avoided falling rocks, broken walls, and cracking ground, heading out of the abandoned city at high speed without a moment's hesitation. Just then, Xiaoxi's sweet voice rang out again with a clear warning. "Commander, a large obstacle has appeared 900 meters ahead and cannot be bypassed. Initiating 30 M&M chain gun fire. Please be advised." As soon as she finished speaking, the RV's chassis shuddered slightly. The 30mm chain gun installed on the roof just last night aimed at the obstacle 900 meters ahead. With a roar, an armor-piercing incendiary shell was fired, hitting the target with precision. An explosion erupted not far ahead, flames soaring into the sky and debris flying everywhere. The broken walls that had blocked their path were instantly blasted into rubble, opening a narrow but passable path. Xiaoxi controlled the RV to charge through the passage at full speed. The vehicle's body brushed against the edge of the ruins. The group could clearly hear the dull thuds of debris hitting the hull and feel the slight tremors caused by the airflow. Every second was nerve-wracking. Lin Yue, sitting in the passenger seat, was already pale with fright, her eyes wide. She turned to look at Wudi, her eyes full of shock. Her lips moved, but she couldn't say a word. She had never seen such a thrilling scene, and more importantly, she couldn't fathom how yesterday's M249 machine gun had turned into a 30mm chain gun. In this life-or-death moment, no one in the cabin spoke. Everyone's nerves were taut, and they didn't even dare to breathe loudly, gripping the fixed objects around them tightly as the RV sped forward through the bumps. Lin Shi and Su Wanwan sat on the sofa, their bodies swaying with the vehicle's jolts. They leaned close to each other, hands death-gripping the sofa's armrests to steady themselves, their faces filled with tension and lingering fear. Time ticked by. After more than an hour of violent jolting, the RV finally broke through the boundary of the abandoned city and sped toward the open ground outside, showing no sign of slowing down. Lin Yue slowly turned her head to look back at the abandoned city, her eyes filled with confusion and loss. There was no longer any trace of a city there. As far as the eye could see, only a mess of ruins remained, with occasional collapses. Dust filled the sky, making it look desolate and hopeless. Not a single trace of the former city could be found. Lin Yu's lips quivered as she murmured, "It's gone. My sisters and my car is really gone." Her voice was full of grievance and loss. That van had been her and Lin Shi's vehicle in the apocalypse, carrying their initial hope for survival. Now it was buried under the ruins, never to be recovered. Su Wanwan also breathed a sigh of relief, her face still pale. She said softly, "Just now, I almost thought we would be buried inside." That feeling was too terrifying. Recalling the scene of the abandoned city collapsing, she still had lingering fears. However, before they could fully recover from the thrill and loss, Xiaoxi's voice rang out again. "Commander, it is detected that the road behind is still collapsing, and the collapse area is spreading rapidly. Xiaoxi will continue to maintain high-speed driving to avoid danger." Hearing this, everyone's hearts tightened, and they immediately looked out the windows. The road behind the RV was like a candle melting under high heat. It rapidly softened and collapsed, turning into boiling lava in the blink of an eye. The crimson lava surged like a fierce fire dragon, chasing after the RV. Lin Shi looked at the surging lava, her face turning pale again. Her voice was full of terror and disbelief. "Is this the final stage of high-temperature survival?" Wu Di stared ahead, keeping an eye on the center console screen, while observing the spreading speed of the lava behind. After a moment, he said in a deep voice, "The lava behind is spreading at a steady speed of 150 kilometers per hour. As long as we keep our speed above 150 kilometers per hour, it won't catch us." As soon as he finished speaking, Wu Di's brow furrowed tightly, and he suddenly felt something was wrong. His RV had been reinforced many times, and its top speed reached 240 kilometers per hour, so maintaining a speed of over 150 kilometers per hour was no problem. But what about the other survivors? At this speed, how many of them could survive? He turned to the three people beside him and instructed in a steady tone, "Keep an eye on the communication channel and see what the situation is for the other survivors." "Okay," the three replied in unison and immediately checked the messages on the communication channel. Wu Di turned back, focusing on the outside situation, watching the spread of the lava while looking for signs of a safe zone ahead. Time slowly passed in the tense sprint. Unknowingly, the time on the center console screen reached 9:09. Lin Yu suddenly looked at Wu Di and said, "Big brother Wu Di, all the survivors are in the same situation as us, being chased by lava. However, I saw someone say that the more people gather, the faster the lava spreads, as if it's being drawn by the number of people." Su Wanwan added, "Yes, big brother Wu Di. It also seems to be related to the level of the vehicle." Lin Yu frowned, her voice full of lingering fear as she continued, "And one more thing, big brother Wu Di. I saw many people in the communication channel saying that many teams died last night. They said the more people gathered, the more monsters there were. All those people ended up dead." Chapter 74, Blueprint Trade. Wu Di looked straight ahead, his voice steady. "Keep an eye on the communication channel and notify me immediately of any new information. Also, watch the trading channel for any suitable vehicle blueprints." "Okay, big brother Wu Di." Lin Yu, Lin Shi, and Su Wanwan replied in unison. The RV fell back into silence. Wu Di remained focused on everything outside, observing the road ahead while monitoring the lava spreading behind them, not daring to relax for a moment. "Is it just the lava spreading? After watching for a long while, a hint of doubt grew in Wudi's mind. The system said today was the final stage of the high temperatures. But aside from the collapsing abandoned city and the pursuing lava, no other more difficult crises had appeared. To him, such a disaster seemed too simple, even a bit abnormal. No, it's because I don't have fuel concerns, high-temperature concerns, or even the need to worry about driving. That's why it feels so simple. After a moment of thought, a flash of determination crossed Wudi's eyes. In that case, I'll push the speed to the limit to see where the safe zone actually is and prepare early for the subsequent crises. Thinking of this, he immediately instructed the central control screen. Xiao Xie, increase the vehicle's speed to the maximum, provided it's safe. Understood, Commander. Xiao Xi's sweet voice rang out. Based on the current road conditions, the estimated maximum speed can reach a limit of 240 kilometers per hour. I will gradually increase the speed to ensure the vehicle remains stable. Following Xiao Xi's command, the speed slowly climbed from 150 kilometers per hour to 200 kilometers per hour, eventually stabilizing at 240 kilometers per hour. Even at its limit, the RV continued to drive smoothly without any jolting. Sitting inside, Wudi could barely feel the vibrations of high-speed travel, aside from seeing the scenery outside flash by. Hearing Wudi's words, Lin Yu, Lin Shi, and Su Wanwan only looked up briefly before lowering their heads again to focus on their respective panels without asking much. After spending this time together, they had long grown accustomed to Wudi's decisions and trusted that his arrangements were always the most secure. Time passed slowly during the high-speed dash, and the clock on the central control screen ticked away until it reached 11:23 a.m. Suddenly, Lin Yu's eyes lit up, and she leaned in close to Wudi, her tone filled with excitement and urgency. Big Brother Wudi, look at this! A front ram design, would this be useful to you? I found it on the trading channel, it was just posted. Hearing this, Wudi immediately withdrew his gaze and quickly checked it. Front ram design, green quality, vehicle item, adds a triple-armored ram to the front of the vehicle, strengthening its impact capability. Can easily ram through small obstacles and resist minor impact damage. Crafting requirements: 8 metal blocks. Installation requirements: level 2 or higher vehicle. Fuel consumption plus 10%. After reading the attributes, Wudi nodded slightly, although it was only green quality. The front ram could strengthen the vehicle's impact capability, making it a useful item. He immediately asked, "What does the other party want in exchange?" "They want 100 units of fuel," Lin Yu said immediately, her tone carrying a hint of hesitation. Big Brother Wudi, isn't 100 units of fuel too much? The RV's fuel consumption must be quite high, right? Reply to him, and say that given the current situation with the lava pursuit, fuel is too precious, and our own reserves are limited. We can offer at most 50 units of fuel. If he's not willing, then forget it, don't force it. Got it, Big Brother Wudi. Lin Yu nodded immediately. Leaning back in his seat, Wudi calculated in his mind. He still had 340 units of fuel. Previously, sisters Lin Shi and Lin Yu's van needed fuel. But now that the van was buried under the ruins, keeping the extra fuel was pointless. Trading it for a blueprint to strengthen the vehicle was undoubtedly the best deal. Facing the unknown 7-day crisis ahead, the stronger the vehicle, the higher their chances of survival. No amount of preparation was too much. At that moment, Wudi glanced at the time and said to Lin Shi, "Lin Shi, go prepare lunch. We'll eat early. I don't know what emergencies might happen this afternoon, so we should be prepared." "Okay, Big Brother Wudi. I'll go right away." Lin Shi nodded immediately and got up to walk to the kitchen. Seeing this, Su Wanwan also put down her panel and stood up, saying, "Zixi, let me help you so it'll be faster." "Okay, Sister Su." Lin Shi smiled gently. During a break in the meal, Lin Yu looked up and said, "Big Brother Wudi," the other party replied. They agreed to exchange the blueprint for 50 units of fuel. "Shall we trade now?" Wudi nodded while eating. Go ahead with the trade." "All right." Lin Yu immediately operated her panel and completed the trade, a triumphant smile appearing on her face. Done, Big Brother Woody. Here's the blueprint. Chapter 75, Approaching the Safe Zone. While the group ate, they didn't waste a single moment. Xiaoxi continued to precisely control the RV, racing forward at its limit of 240 kilometers per hour without any sign of slowing down. After a quick lunch, Wudi didn't linger and immediately returned to the driver's seat. Although Xiaoxi's precise control and emergency responses throughout the morning had fully proven its excellence, Wudi still felt a trace of caution. Personally keeping an eye on the road conditions was the only way he could truly feel at ease. Lin Yu, Lin Shi, and Su Wanwan saw Wudi return to the driver's seat, once again focused intently on the road ahead and any movement behind them. They didn't step forward to disturb him, and silently returned to their respective positions. They stared at their panels again, continuing to watch the trading channel for suitable vehicle blueprints, while also monitoring the survivor dynamics in the communication channel, not daring to relax in the slightest. Silence fell over the cabin once more. Time passed slowly in this quietude as the clock on the central control screen ticked away, reaching 13:45 before they knew it. "Commander, road conditions have changed," Xiaoxi's voice suddenly rang out. Wudi's eyebrows twitched slightly. He cast his gaze behind the vehicle and discovered that the lava, which had been chasing them relentlessly, had actually disappeared. He wondered to himself, could we have reached the range of the safe zone? With a hint of doubt, Wudi asked the central control screen, "Xiaoxi, how far have we traveled in total since leaving the abandoned city?" Reporting to Commander, since the evacuation from the abandoned city, the total distance traveled is 1,003 kilometers. Slow down and maintain a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. Closely monitor the surrounding environment and alert me immediately if there are any abnormal changes. Wudi calculated silently. No wonder the lava couldn't keep up. Based on the speed of an ordinary level 2 or level 3 van, which is around 100 to 120 km/h, this distance of over 1,000 kilometers would take those survivors about 10 hours to cover. Many people are likely still being chased by the lava. Whether they survive or not depends entirely on luck. Understood, Commander. Initiating gradual speed reduction to stabilize at 100 kilometers per hour. Hearing the conversation between Wudi and Xiaoxi, Lin Yue was the first who couldn't help but speak up. She leaned forward and asked, "Big Brother Wudi, what's wrong? Has the lava disappeared? Are we safe?" As she spoke, a flicker of anticipation flashed in her eyes, and she cautiously added, "Big Brother Wudi, I want to see what the autocannon on the RV looks like, okay?" Hearing this, Wudi was slightly stunned and felt somewhat helpless. He never expected that as soon as the lava vanished, the first thing Lin Yu would think of was seeing the autocannon. This girl's mind was always so flighty, without a shred of the tension of doomsday survival. Before Lin Shi could speak, Su Wanwan gently advised, "Little sister Yu, don't be in such a hurry. Wait until Big Brother Wudi confirms the surroundings are completely safe. It wouldn't be good if there's danger outside right now." Lin Shi also frowned, looking at Lin Yu helplessly. "Yu, can't you use your brain for once?" Wudi waved his hand, interrupting their conversation. "The lava behind us is indeed gone. Looking at the situation, the safe zone shouldn't be far. Once we reach the safe zone and confirm it's completely safe, you can look at it however much you want." Hearing this, Lin Yu immediately beamed and nodded repeatedly. Big Brother Wudi." Just then, Xiaoxi's voice suddenly sounded, "Commander, an abnormal situation has been detected 1,000 meters ahead." This sentence instantly grabbed the attention of all four people. Everyone looked up in unison, their eyes fixed on the road ahead. As the RV slowly approached, it wasn't long before a massive light curtain appeared before everyone's eyes. The light curtain was pale white, standing straight in the middle of the road and completely enveloping the entire path. Nothing could be seen on the other side of the light curtain. It was like an invisible barrier blocking everyone's way forward. Xiaoxi, approach to within 100 meters of the light curtain and stop. Understood, Commander. The RV slowed down and came to a steady stop 100 meters from the light curtain. Wudi stood up and said, "The three of you stay in the RV. Don't get out. I'll go down and check it out. Big brother Woody, be careful, Lin Shi quickly urged, her tone full of worry. Su Wanwan and Lin Yui also nodded, their eyes filled with concern, but they said nothing more. Woody nodded and pushed open the door to get out. He walked quickly toward the light curtain and checked around, finding no abnormalities. He couldn't see anything on the other side of the light curtain. He casually took out the military tactical dagger from his space and threw it hard toward the light curtain. The dagger instantly passed through the light curtain without meeting any resistance, vanishing to the other side in the blink of an eye. No trace of it could be seen. No sound of collision was heard, and there was no abnormal reaction. Woody frowned, turned around, and walked quickly back into the RV, telling the three women what he had discovered. After listening to Wu Dai, the three fell into silence, their faces showing hesitation. No one knew what was on the other side of the light curtain, whether it was the safe zone or a new danger. Once they passed through, there would be no chance to turn back. A moment later, Lin Shi looked up at Wu Di and said softly, "Big brother Wu Di, we'll all listen to you. Just make the decision. No matter what, we're following you." Su Wanwan and Lin Yue also nodded in agreement. Looking at the trusting eyes of the three, Wu Di took a deep breath, a flash of determination in his eyes. "We can't go back, we can only go straight through. Besides, this is a survival game. It probably won't let us die inexplicably like this. There's a high probability that the other side of the light curtain is the safe zone." Chapter 76, The True Safe Zone. "Get ready, we're moving out," Wu Di commanded in a low voice. As soon as the words left his mouth, Lin Yu darted like a gust of wind into the passenger seat, her eyes fixed intently on the shimmering screen ahead, her face filled with anticipation. Lin Shi and Su Wanwan quickly found their own seats, gripping the nearby fixtures tightly to secure themselves, ready to pass through the luminous barrier. "Roger, Commander," Shashi's clear, sweet voice responded. She then steered the RV towards the glowing screen ahead. As the RV slowly drove into the light, Woody felt the scenery before his eyes shift abruptly. The desolate road outside the window vanished in an instant, replaced by a scene of neat order. The surrounding light also softened. The four of them focused their gaze and found themselves in a small, compact parking lot. The ground was level and clean, marked with orderly parking lines. There were no debris or other vehicles around. About 30 meters from the parking lot stood a 2-story building, resembling a bed and breakfast from the real world. It bore no signs or lettering, appearing simple and quiet, yet exuding a hint of mystery. Before the four could fully process this sudden change, a system prompt popped up. "Ding! Congratulations on being the first in this region to arrive at the safe zone. You have received 1,000 base points plus 33,610 vehicle points for a total of 34,610 points. Points are non-transferable and can be used for safe zone consumption and item exchange. Ding, from now until 6 a.m. tomorrow is designated rest time. There are no survival threats within the safe zone. Enjoy your respite, survivors." Wu Di snapped back to reality instantly, his brow furrowing slightly. He wondered inwardly, is this place similar to the previous supply point, just larger and safer? "Did you all get the prompt too?" "Big brother Wu Di, so many points," Lin Yu exclaimed, her face a picture of awe. At the previous supply point, she and her sister had only gotten a little over 100 points together. "Let's go. We'll check out that building first. Be careful, stay together, and stay alert." "Okay." Lin Shi, Lin Yu, and Su Wanwan answered in unison, following Wu Di as he pushed open the vehicle door and stepped out. The four of them walked side by side towards the bed and breakfast-like structure, observing their surroundings as they went. "Wow, it's so comfortable here. Finally, it's not scorching hot," Lin Yu exclaimed the moment she got out of the vehicle. Just as they entered the lobby, all four of their wristbands lit up simultaneously, and another system prompt appeared. "Ding! You have entered the core area of the safe zone. Any form of attack is strictly prohibited here. Violators will be eliminated by the system. Please strictly adhere to the safe zone rules." Wu Dai frowned, muttering under his breath. "What does that mean? Does the parking lot outside not count as the real safe zone? Only the inside of this building does? He was genuinely puzzled. The safe zone the system spoke of actually had inner and outer areas. Su Wanwan thought for a moment, then offered a soft guess. Could it be, we'll encounter other players here? The system forbids attacks to prevent players from killing each other? Lin Shi also nodded in agreement. That's possible. The parking lot outside is big enough to hold many vehicles. Presumably other survivors will arrive later. When everyone gathers here, conflicts are inevitable. This rule is probably to maintain order. Wu Di didn't nod. He said gravely, Don't worry about that for now. It'll probably be a while before other players arrive. Let's use this time to see what we can do here, and if there are any supplies or blueprints we need. The four of them scanned the lobby. It was about 100 square meters, very bright, yet they couldn't see any light source. The illumination was soft and non-glaring. The space was completely empty. At the far end of the lobby was a conspicuous entrance. Above it hung a wooden sign engraved with 4 large black characters, Supermarket Entrance. The font was clear and very prominent. From the moment she entered the lobby, Lin Yu's eyes had been glued to the supermarket entrance sign. She could barely contain her excitement. Hearing Wu Dai's words, she immediately grabbed his arm and said urgently, Hurry, big brother Wu Dai, sis. Let's go to the supermarket. I haven't been shopping in a supermarket for ages. Wu Di gave her a helpless look, but didn't refuse. He nodded. Let's go. We'll take a look. The four of them walked through the supermarket entrance. The moment they stepped inside, they were stunned by the sight before them. The interior space of the supermarket was immeasurably larger than the outer lobby. It stretched as far as the eye could see. Shelves were neatly arranged, densely packed, and filled with all sorts of goods. After a quick look around, they found that any daily living supplies available in the real world were here in abundance. The price for each item was clearly marked, mostly just 1 point per item, incredibly cheap. What surprised them even more was the special rule here. The moment any item was taken off the shelf, the corresponding points would be instantly deducted from their wristbands. Holding a drink in her hand, Lin Yu's eyes sparkled. She looked at Wu Di excitedly, her voice full of anticipation. Big brother Wu Di, I want to buy so many things. Snacks, drinks, pretty clothes. I'm going on a serious shopping spree. After so many days of brutal survival, she deeply missed the feeling of shopping freely. Seeing this, Lin Shi couldn't help but shoot her a glare. She said helplessly, Xiao Yu, don't be silly. Our top priority now is finding useful things. Big brother Wu Di, don't mind her. Let's first see if there are any necessities, like medicine, common tools, or vehicle accessories. Su Wanwan looked at Wu Di. She was also tempted, wanting to find some things she needed. Looking at the three of them, Wu Di couldn't help but smile. He said, No rush for now. Probably no one else will come here immediately. Let's split up and search first. See if there are any useful items like weapon blueprints or vehicle enhancement blueprints. After we find those, you can all shop to your heart's content. We'll meet back at the supermarket entrance in half an hour. Don't wander too far. Hearing this, Lin Yu immediately beamed, nodding repeatedly. Big brother Wu Di, I'll find them as fast as I can. No sooner had she spoken than she eagerly dashed deeper into the supermarket, her steps light, her eyes filled with expectation. Lin Shi only had time to call after her retreating back. Xiao Yu, be careful. Don't run off. Remember to meet in half an hour. Su Wanwan also nodded to Wu Di and said, Big brother Wu Di, I'll go search too. All right, be careful. Call me immediately if anything happens, Wu Di instructed. Su Wanwan nodded, turned, and walked towards the shelves on the other side. Lin Shi also straightened her clothes and said, Big brother Wu Di, I'll go take a look too. Go ahead. The group split up to act, each heading towards a different area. Chapter 77, Weapons and Blueprints. Half an hour later, the four of them regrouped at the supermarket entrance. Wu Di spoke first, his tone concise. How did it go? Did you find anything? Lin Yue bounced excitedly in front of him, but her head gave a slight shake. She hadn't found anything crucial. Lin Shi stepped forward, her expression serious. Big brother Wu Di, I found it. They have both weapons and blueprints here. I'll take you over. You can decide. Good. Woody nodded, and the three of them followed Lin Shi deeper into the supermarket. They passed rows of food and daily necessities shelves. After a short walk, a prominent sign finally appeared ahead. Weapons area. Big Brother Woody. The blueprint area is right next to it. Lin Shi pointed to the side. The four entered the weapons area. Woody swept a glance and had a general idea. It contained almost all common melee weapons found in reality. Cleavers, daggers, spears, crossbows, everything you could think of, though the highest quality was only green. As for firearms, they were pitifully few. Looking around, there were only a handful of rifles and pistols. He walked straight to the most prominently displayed firearm with the highest price tag and picked up a rifle marked at 200 points. QBZ-95 assault rifle, blue quality. A modified version of a standard assault rifle. Caliber 5.8 millimeters, 30-round magazine, equipped with simple iron sights and tactical rail. Effective range 280 meters. Prone to overheating with sustained fire. Woody set it down and picked up another equally priced firearm with a very familiar appearance. AK-47 assault rifle, blue quality, modified classic model, caliber 7.62 millimeters, fixed stock, 30-round magazine, effective range 250 meters. Poor accuracy with sustained fire. Relatively heavy body. After a rough comparison, Woody had already made a judgment. There was basically no difference. Upon closer inspection, the rifle-type firearms only came with one initial magazine. Extra magazines needed to be purchased separately, uniformly priced at 10 points each. Ammunition was not sold individually. Seeing this, Woody felt that these firearms were of little practical use to him at present. His shadow pistol, though only holding 15 rounds, could automatically replenish ammunition, albeit slowly. Moreover, the vehicle's roof had an autocannon that restored 120 rounds daily. Most crucially, given his current enhanced physical strength, it was questionable whether these ordinary firearms could even scratch his skin. Let's go. We'll leave these firearms for now. Let's look at the blueprints first, and decide whether to get them after we've seen them. Woody turned and walked straight towards the blueprint area. The blueprint area was much smaller than the weapons area, mostly containing basic upgrade blueprints for level 1-3 vehicles and ordinary component blueprints, with the highest quality being only blue. Among a pile of ordinary blueprints, one with a special style stood out, particularly eye-catching. Space Expansion Scroll special item. After use, adds 10 square meters of space to a vehicle. Price, 1,000 points. Without any hesitation, Woody directly reached out and took it. Before, when he was alone, space was more than ample. Now, with 4 people in the vehicle, the original space was clearly insufficient. Most importantly, this blueprint could be used directly without requiring any crafting materials. After securing the Space Expansion Scroll, Woody scanned the remaining blue quality blueprints and bought them all. Level 3 Vehicle Upgrade Blueprint after use. Upgrades a Level 3 vehicle to Level 4. Price, 500 points. He planned to use his talent to enhance it again, hoping to push his already Level 4 RV to a further breakthrough. Heavy-duty explosion-proof off-road tire design, blueprint, blue quality, vehicle component, tire strength significantly increased, immune to ordinary piercing and slashing damage, can withstand small arms fire, reduces impact of extreme heat and cold, speed plus 30. Crafting requirements, metal block 10, rubber 10, price 200 points. Crystallized bulletproof glass design blueprint, blue quality, evolved from reinforced glass. Forged using special crystallization process, combining high strength with toughness. Can partially block external temperatures. Crafting requirements, metal block 5, glass 25. Price, 200 points. Vehicle frame design blueprint, blue quality. High strength alloy vehicle frame. Significantly improves vehicle defense, durability, and stability. Greatly reduces damage from collisions and rough terrain. Crafting requirements, metal block 20, price 200 points. Turbine pulse engine design blueprint, blue quality, core vehicle component. Utilizes multi-stage turbine and pulse supercharging structure. Power output significantly increased. Faster startup response. Stronger sustained driving burst power. Effect, speed plus 50, fuel consumption plus 20%. Crafting requirements, metal block 8, rubber 1, plastic 1, price 200 points. Woody collected the blueprints one by one into his spatial storage. Looking at this full set of core vehicle enhancement blueprints before him, he was acutely aware these things could not be directly converted into strength for now. He clearly remembered that among the previously seen purple-quality blueprints, a new type of material was mentioned, atomic mass substance. Up to now, he hadn't even seen it, let alone heard anyone mention such a thing in the communication channel. But with these blueprints in hand, as long as sufficient materials became available later, his vehicle was poised for a massive leap forward at any time. Chapter 78, Genetic Reconstruction. Woody looked down at the credit balance on his wristband and did a quick mental calculation. The blueprints had cost a total of 2,300 credits. From his original 34,610 credits, 31,310 remained. He stood there, lost in thought. Seeing his grave expression, Lin Shi, Lin Yue, and Su Wanwan stood quietly nearby, not making a sound to disturb him, waiting patiently. Wu Di calculated rapidly in his mind. As the region's first-place finisher, I only got 1,000 base credits. Those who arrived later will have even fewer. But with vehicle upgrade blueprints available in this safe zone, it won't be long before a batch of level 4 vehicles appears. The overall strength of other players is about to surge. I must seize this opportunity to widen the gap between my strength and theirs again. Talent effect number 2 can be used today. Where would be the most cost-effective place to use today's 5 enhancement opportunities? After a moment of thought, Wu Di had already made his decision. He looked up at Lin Yu. Lin Yu, come back to the vehicle with me for a moment. Hearing this, Lin Yu's face flushed bright red in an instant. She averted her eyes and stammered, "Big brother Wu Di, that's not really appropriate. Sister and Sister Wanwan are both still here, and... Lin Shi and Su Wanwan were also taken aback simultaneously, looking at Wu Di with stunned expressions. The atmosphere instantly turned awkward. Seeing their expressions, Wu Di immediately understood. What are you all thinking? I need you to activate your talent amplification for me. Once it's used, you can come back and continue shopping. The three of them finally realized their misunderstanding and awkwardly looked away. Lin Shi and Su Wanwan quickly nodded, their expressions returning to normal. Wu Di added further instructions. You two, look around the supermarket. See if there are any basic materials like metal blocks, rubber, or glass, and restock on daily necessities. Okay. Lin Yu no longer hesitated. She grabbed Wu Di's arm and hurriedly pulled him towards the door. Hurry up, big brother Wu Di. Let's get to the RV. As soon as they returned to the RV, Lin Yu immediately activated her talent, applied the amplification to Wu Di, and then said impatiently, Then I'll go back to shopping at the supermarket first. Before her words had even faded, she had already dashed off and vanished. Only Wu Di remained in the vehicle compartment. He took a deep breath and began today's enhancements. He first took out the level 3 vehicle upgrade blueprint and activated his talent. Ding! This blueprint is of the current highest quality and cannot be promoted. Huh? Wu Di frowned slightly. Does that mean after level 4 vehicles, ordinary vehicle upgrade manuals can no longer be used for breakthroughs? He didn't dwell on it for long and immediately switched to the next target. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough. Takes effect. Item promoted by 1 tier. Front bumper ram design, green quality, has been promoted to City Breaker blade ram design, blue quality. City Breaker blade ram design, blue quality. A triangular ram made of military-grade thin manganese steel, plus wear-resistant alloy blade edge, equipped with shock-absorbing rubber pads. Enhances the vehicle's frontal obstacle clearing and ramming capabilities. Can cause significant damage to light vehicles. Installation requirement: level 2 or higher vehicle. Energy consumption plus 10%. Crafting requirement: metal block 15, rubber 5. Ding. City Breaker Blade Ram crafting complete. Wu Di didn't stop. After crafting it, he continued to use his talent. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough. Takes effect. Item promoted by 1 tier. City Breaker Blade Ram. Blue quality. Has been promoted to Titan Armor Piercing Ram. Purple quality. Titan Armor Piercing Ram. Purple quality. A double-layered composite structure ram made of thickened military-grade manganese steel plus tungsten steel ram tip. Can cause fatal damage to medium vehicles and penetrate the surface armor of light armored vehicles. Possesses obstacle clearing, armor piercing, and shock absorbing functions. Installation requirement: level 2 or higher vehicle. Energy consumption plus 20%. Install it immediately. Titan Armor Piercing Ram installation complete. Xiaoxi, new vehicle mounted equipment. Check its status. Received, Commander. Titan Armor Piercing Ram has been incorporated into the vehicle control program. Wu Di nodded and proceeded to the next enhancement. This time he took out the gene optimization serum he had been saving for a long time. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough takes effect. Item promoted by 2 tiers. Gene optimization serum has been promoted to Genetic Reconstruction Essence. Genetic Reconstruction Essence, a special item that comprehensively optimizes the human gene sequence, repairs genetic defects, and greatly enhances physique and environmental adaptability. Grants immunity to most viruses, radiation, and toxins, achieving an evolutionary level transformation at the fundamental level. Ineffective if physique is greater than 200. Note: life iterates from this point. The mortal body strides toward new life. Every breath is evolution. Looking at this vial of radiant, shimmering essence, a trace of astonishment finally appeared in Wu Di's eyes. Chapter 79. Void Realm. Although he couldn't use it for the time being, the value of this bottle of gene reconstruction serum was immeasurable. Wu Di knew very well that he was no longer alone. He was a team, and he had to consider everything from the perspective of the whole. After putting away the gene reconstruction serum, he solemnly took out 2 items. Talent fragment, silver grade, a mysterious energy fragment containing the power of talent promotion. Collect 10 to synthesize a talent promotion stone, silver grade. Talent fragment, black special grade, a mysterious energy fragment containing the power of talent promotion. Collect 10 to synthesize a talent promotion stone, black special grade. These were the 2 talent fragments he had obtained previously. Wu Di had always wanted to know if his mythic talent could continue to break through, and the only clear path at present was to rely on these fragments. Previously, he hadn't been willing to use them in order to prioritize strengthening his vehicle and his own combat power, but now, the time had finally come. Wu Di focused his mind and activated his talent. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough. Activated. Item promoted by 2 tiers. Talent fragment. Black special grade. Has been promoted to Talent fragment. Gold grade. Ding. Talent. Rule breakthrough. Activated. Item promoted by 2 tiers. Talent fragment. Silver grade has been promoted to Talent fragment. Legendary grade. It really works. In that case, as long as I continue to collect talent fragments, my mythic talent will one day be able to break through even further. Wu Di could hardly suppress the excitement in his heart. His mythic talent was the foundation of his rise, and his greatest reliance for staying far ahead of other survivors. Now that he had seen with his own eyes that there was still a path for his talent to advance, how could he not be excited? A moment later, Wu Di forcibly calmed his emotions and took out the Space Expansion Scroll. Space Expansion Scroll special item. After use, it can add 10 square meters of space to the vehicle. The team formation items from before and the gene optimization serum from just now had all taught him one truth. Once these types of special items were promoted by his talent, their value would undergo a qualitative change. Wu Di did not hesitate any longer and activated Rule Breakthrough. Again. Ding. Talent. Rule Breakthrough. Effect 2 activated. Space Expansion Scroll has been promoted to Void Realm. Void Realm special item. creates a completely self-contained, independent small world that is completely isolated from the outside time and space. Basic space area, 10,000 square meters. Can consume energy to expand the area. It possesses a stable day-night cycle, air, and ecological circulation inside. Opening this space requires continuous energy consumption. Note: creating a world from the void, a heaven hidden within the realm, with its own sun, moon, morning, and dusk. Holy crap. Every time Wu Di used the second effect of his talent, he knew it would bring about a huge transformation, but looking at the description of the void realm, he still couldn't control his shock. Just then, the central control screen sounded a notification. Reporting to Commander, a vehicle item installation request has been detected, and the optimal plan has been recommended for you. Xiaoxi, you have this function too? Wu Di looked at the screen in surprise. Commander, Xiaoxi is the vehicle, and the vehicle is Xiaoxi. Wu Di looked at the recommended plan on the interface and saw that a location for a light door had appeared in the empty space between the kitchen and the bedroom of the RV. Install. As his voice fell, a metal door appeared silently in the same position inside the vehicle. Wu Di immediately walked over, opened the door, and stepped inside. What met his eyes was an empty space about the size of 2 soccer fields, the ground covered in soft soil. Other than that, there was nothing. Looking up, the sky was even bluer than in the real world, with a few white clouds drifting slowly, as if he were truly in an independent world. He stared blankly for a moment, then slowly exited the void realm. Xiaoxi, run a check. How much energy is required to maintain the basic functions of the void realm? Day-night cycle, air, and ecological circulation. Commander, just maintaining basic operation, without affecting the vehicle. It can be stably sustained for 10 years. After hearing this, Wu Di completely set his mind at ease. 10 years was enough. As for continuing to expand the space, there was absolutely no need. Not to mention the 4 people now. Even if 40 more came, this 10,000 square meter realm would be enough for living, resting, and storing supplies. Chapter 80. Want it all. Seeing that all possible reinforcements and installations were complete, Wu Di finally relaxed his nerves, which had been tense for many days. He pushed the door open to get out and walked straight to the front of the RV to inspect the newly installed Titan armor-piercing ram. The previously flat and simple front center now stood a pitch-black triangular ram, its blades gleaming with a cold, sharp light. The base of the ram connected perfectly to the frame of the RV, with sharp and heavy lines that made the entire RV look even more imposing and domineering. No longer just a simple transport vehicle, but more like a mobile combat fortress. Nodding in satisfaction, Wu Di turned and walked toward the supermarket. He had originally worried that the RV had limited space and couldn't store many supplies. But now, with the Void Realm, a 10,000-meter small world, he could finally let go and purchase extensively to make ample preparations for the subsequent survival challenges. Just as he walked into the supermarket lobby, he saw Lin Shi walking out from inside, her expression carrying a hint of urgency. "Big brother Wu Di, I was just about to go find you," Lin Shi said, walking up quickly. "What's wrong?" Wu Di asked. "I found the basic materials area inside. Basic supplies like metal block, rubber, glass, and plastic are all 1 point each, and each item is limited to 1,000. There is also fuel, which is also 1 point per unit, also limited to 1,000 units. How much do you think we should exchange for?" Lin Shi reported her findings seriously, with a hint of hesitation in her tone. After all, the quantity of supplies was not small, and she worried that the space inside the RV was not enough. Hearing Lin Shi's words, Wu Di's footsteps paused, and he was secretly surprised. He remembered that at the previous supply station, the price of basic materials was far more than 1 point each. Now that the price in the safe zone was so low, could it be that the system was deliberately supporting the survivors to give everyone a chance to improve their strength? Without thinking too much, Wu Di immediately said in a deep voice, "Exchange for all the materials and fuel, get as much as we can." "But, big brother Wu Di," Lin Shi said with a troubled expression, "each of our backpacks only has 10 slots of space, and each type of supply can stack up to 99. The space inside the RV is also not big enough. I have already solved the space problem, so you don't need to worry, Wudi said with a smile. Tell Su Wanwan and Lin Yue that we will exchange for resources together first, and then transport them back together. Okay, Big Brother Wudi. Lin Shi nodded, and while taking out her panel to send messages to Su Wanwan and Lin Yue, she asked curiously, "Did you already use the space expansion scroll you exchanged for earlier?" I used it, and it exceeded expectations. The space now is larger than you can imagine, Wudi said, still unable to hide the smile on his lips. Lin Shi tilted her head and looked at Wudi in astonishment. The changes to the RV from earlier flashed through her mind, and she had a vague guess in her heart. A moment later, Lin Shi led Wudi to the basic materials area deep in the supermarket. From afar, they saw Lin Yue and Su Wanwan waiting by the shelves. Lin Yue was holding a few bags of snacks, her face full of anticipation. "Big Brother Wudi!" Seeing Wudi, Lin Yue immediately ran over, her tone carrying a hint of annoyance. "The system seems to have determined that we are a team. I thought that with the four of us, we could exchange for 4,000 units of each supply, but it turns out it's still limited to 1,000 units each. What a pity." Wudi looked at her annoyed appearance and couldn't help but smile. "We are already a team, aren't we?" "That's true. Hey." Lin Yu scratched her head, instantly happy again, throwing her annoyance to the back of her mind. "Don't waste time. Let's exchange for the basic resources first. My space has 30 slots, and each slot stacks 99 items. We can move all the supplies in 2 trips. "Okay," the 3 of them replied in unison, and immediately began to exchange. Subsequently, the 4 of them walked toward the outside of the supermarket together. As soon as they walked out of the supermarket entrance, the gazes of Lin Shi, Lin Yu, and Su Wanwan were attracted by the front of the RV, and their mouths widened in shock instantly. Their faces filled with astonishment. The familiar front of the RV now had an additional massive metal triangular ram. And combined with the 30mm chain gun already existing on the roof, the entire vehicle exuded a strong sense of deterrence. Lin Yu was even more excited, hugging Lin Shi's arm, her voice trembling slightly. Sister, look, that ram! And the big cannon on the roof is that still our RV? It's too cool." Although Lin Shi was also full of surprise, she was calmer than Lin Yu. She looked at her sister helplessly and said with a smile, "Who was it that was clamoring to see the chain cannon before, but as soon as they saw the supermarket, their eyes went straight, and they didn't even manage to look at the cannon on the roof?" In fact, as early as when they first arrived at the safe zone and got out of the car, she and Su Wanwan had noticed the chain cannon on the roof, but didn't have time to look closely. Now, with the addition of the ram on the front, she was even more shocked. Su Wanwan stood to the side, her gaze fixed tightly on the RV, and said softly, "Such a RV, just looking at it gives one a sense of security. Let's go, I'll show you the newly added space." Wudi did not stop his steps and walked straight toward the RV, his tone carrying a hint of mystery. The 3 of them hurriedly followed. After entering the RV, they saw Wudi walk to the position between the kitchen and the bedroom and open that metal door. Filled with curiosity, Lin Shi, Lin Yu, and Su Wanwan followed Wudi inside in a daze.